Welcome to the Newbury Cultural Council meeting, September 20th, 6 o'clock. We're here at 12 Kent Way in Newbury at Town Hall. This is the call to order. That's all I've got.
Okay, then we do
Names, so if everyone wants to say so. Council members here want to announce themselves. You want to start, Amy?
Amy Thurlow,
Margaret Russell,
Jean Anderson.
Bart Bracken.
Michelle Willette.
Lloyd Hamilton.
Excellent. So we know that Robin Lawson, ex officio, is not here, and Minnie Flanagan is not here at this meeting. So next order of business is approving our August 4th minutes. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Anyone have any changes to the minutes?
No.
Nope.
Anyone?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Everyone
Aye.
in favor?
so I wasn't in
Aye.
attendance. I wasn't in attendance at that meeting, but I've reviewed the minutes.
Okay.
So I can-
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect. So next order of business, we have two modifications to vote on. Amy, do you want to
Yep.
explain them?
So the first one is from Delvina, or Delvana, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's the acting company that usually performs for the Council on Aging or Cultural, no, whatever they're called, Senior Center. So Cindy asked them to switch it from, was it Louisa's Girls
Yes.
to,
Lizzie
Borden.
Borden.
thanks, Lizzie Borden, because of Halloween, which I think is terrible for Lizzie Borden, but I think it's a great idea, and I say, yes, we should do it. So motion to approve. Or does
Second.
anyone say no? Is there a reason, anyone have a reason we shouldn't approve it?
No.
No.
Okay.
That's fine.
Motion to
I
approve.
second. I
Perfect.
won't go, I'll cover my ass, but I second it.
All the ayes?
Aye.
Any nays?
And then the second one is super easy. It is from the DocuFest in Newburyport. And because of the pandemic, they've changed a little bit of their structure. So some things will, I don't know if you all had a chance to read the email.
Right.
Some things will still be in person, other things will be online, which I think is fantastic because even more people can see them. I don't know if you guys noticed too that some of those are grants for student filmmakers, so give them a listen or a look. So that's the, do we approve the modification that changes the venue or the way of viewing for those? 'Cause
The
it's
methodology.
So it was supposed to be all in person, back to that, but
Ouch.
they're going back to the hybrid.
hybrid.
Okay, okay,
Second.
Which is,
that's fine. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
second.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Great.
Okay, then the next is just announcements for the fiscal year 2022, MCC grants. So I put it in the newspaper, it was in the Newburyport Daily News. I just saw that Salisbury put theirs in this week. And then it's also posted on our town website, but if anyone also wants to share it with people that they know or other folks, please feel free to do so, or point them on our website or the MCC's website just to find out further information. In the news article, it did have the link. And then there was a training period on how to apply. I think that happened last week.
I'm gonna say I put it on the Facebook page with the training.
Okay,
I
perfect,
want to say I did, it was a while ago.
great.
So on that line though, Michelle, Salisbury invited all the region to that thing on the 20th. I don't know if anyone else is planning on going. I am.
Okay, good.
I am going.
What
and
day was
Robin
it?
said she was
The
gonna-
28th,
Yeah.
Oh, the 28th, yeah.
And she said one of the things that she thought we should discuss is maybe doing a communal posting because we all post the same thing. So just as something to think about. I don't know.
Posting of that program?
Posting of the grants open for all of us in the area
Oh, I
together.
see, okay.
Michelle, did I read the piece in the newspaper correctly that the amount of grant money for next year is $3,000?
Yes.
So it is actually 5,300, but because of Newburytown Day, I
Yep.
assume we're gonna give 20%.
I see.
Yeah, so I
Okay,
did
so
that
that's
math.
why it was.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
want people
Okay.
to look at it and then be like, well, why didn't I get my $200, you know?
Okay,
So I kind of wanted to lower the expectations.
okay. Good, that answers it.
As the person checking the email, I wanted to lower the expectations.
Okay, I like your attitude.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3,000, and we did have a whole back and forth at one point about giving out previous years and.
Yeah, this whole thing, that's the other reason I'm being
And
super
that's
careful.
all been taken care of at this
This
point.
is our catch-up year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it will be all taken care of next year.
Okay.
Did you guys see how much we got? So we have been granted 5,300,
Right.
so, yeah.
So between that and
Which is
that's
exciting.
hard. And then next year we'll be back on track.
We'll be back on track.
That's
yeah.
what I thought. Okay, just wanted to be clear. Okay.
Okay. And then anyone have anything else with regard to that, the grants, the current?
I got onto the system and changed my password.
Oh, good,
Yes, I'm not sure if everybody's done that or not.
yeah.
So, was that on here? Yeah, that's further on, I'll wait.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
down
yeah.
further, sorry
Yeah,
about that.
no worries. So then, next order of business is council responsibility sharing.
So I think we had that when we were talking about the liaison, and I don't know if
We
she,
started to.
I don't know if she copied everyone, Minnie does not want to be liaison.
Did see that.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm answering the emails. Honestly, there were two, so it's really not that big a deal. These two modifications, and then there were two others before that. It's not a huge amount of emails. If anyone wants to help out with that, that'd be fantastic, but I'm definitely doing more than just the treasurer role at this point. So if anyone has ideas about how to parse and I don't know about you too, you're definitely doing more than the secretary.
Yeah, well, it gets hard when we abruptly cancel a meeting, take it off town website, repost it, make sure the room's ready, so we just need to be cognizant about, kind of staying on track with things.
Are we going to assume that Mondays?
It looked like, which is such a bummer because it makes such a long work day because it's Monday, but
Yeah.
it looked like Mondays are pretty
Open.
good for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can book the meetings on the town website, Leslie showed me how, though I haven't done it yet. So that shouldn't be a problem if Mondays are good for everyone, it seems to be okay.
Sure.
So just so I'm clear, so Amy, what you're asking for is somebody to answer the emails that come in?
Yeah,
Is that
well,
what
I
you're
think
saying?
this
Well, we need a
molds
chair, too.
into, yeah, I think this molds into, which was Margaret's topic, update on chair
Right,
position.
right.
So, does anyone want to be chair?
No.
I don't think it'll be a heavy lift at all, I mean,
I got a couple of thoughts on this. One is someone can just be chair. Two is Michelle and I co-chair, co-do our jobs, and then someone else co-does our jobs too. So we have two co-chairs, co-treasurer, co-secretary, along with secretary treasurer.
which isn't, sorry, not to interrupt, but that's not a bad idea, because Amy and I both travel immensely. I'm gonna start working 60
Wow.
hours a week, and I'm going overseas, so, and she's gonna go on the road eventually,
Maybe,
so.
I hope so.
So it would be good to have backups for things too.
And I think that in light of the learning I have done, because remember when I took over treasurer, it was pretty awful because I had no information
Yeah,
whatsoever.
right.
But I'm here to help whomever does it, same thing with you.
Yeah, I've got a system going, so it's just basically cut and paste what.
And it also seems like the two of you have done a wonderful job
Figuring it out, yeah.
keeping stuff rolling and
Yeah.
responding
Well-
and, keeping everybody in
Yeah.
the loop. So that makes some sense.
But then the communication with Nina, and, it's good to have another person do that rather than her come to us all the time.
So I'm more comfortable doing the treasurer, and so if you want some help in doing the treasurer job, I'd be happy to help.
Okay, great. It is not difficult. And now that we know what we're doing, it's just a matter, the only thing is sometimes you have to chase people's paperwork, which is you email them and you wait.
Right.
That's about it.
And it may become even easier next year based on another topic that we wanted to bring up, which is the direct grants versus reimbursements, because the reimbursements seem tougher,
Yeah,
because people have to come back for modifications. If we did direct grants, then it won't be that issue.
That sounds like a very good move for them. That you seem to have a steady, is this true year after year? You have a steady request for modifications?
No, I've never seen this before. We've never had
Really?
it.
So
This is
it's,
because of
this is
COVID.
pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It'll still be
Pandemic
easier.
too.
Yeah.
No, we've never met this much, but, you know, first, Robin did set, you know, kind of the ball rolling that we would be a more active group than we were in the past. We've never had modification. I've never gone to a modification meeting before, yeah.
Right.
No.
So just this past year.
But that does bring up, you know, even, we've had many, and she wrote that thing the other day, that email, we have expanded our scope in some ways, with Robin being in, and leading us on.
Yeah.
And so I personally am having a hard time finding the extra time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have a full-time business. So, I understand and I want to be supportive, but I just can't take on extra roles at this moment.
And I wouldn't mind doing quarterly meetings. I don't think we need to do monthly meetings. I
No.
think it's too
No,
much.
I agree.
I agree.
That would be helpful. And this is the one time a year where we gear up and are busy.
Right,
And that's what it used to be,
right,
where pandemic.
right.
But modifications created
Right.
much more work, and having the Newberry town days.
Yeah.
However, added in there a little bit. So between those two things, I'd like to see us kind of step back.
Take a breath.
Personally.
There is obvious overlap with Newbury Town Day, but they do have their own
Right.
steering committee
Yeah.
and their own set of, you know, meetings. And while obviously there's some overlap and interests and, you know.
Yeah, but we have our
posts every
limits
day.
of what we can actually do, because we're giving them money, right? So then we can't,
Yes.
so there's conflict there.
We actually can. We can, because it is open to everyone, including us. So it's
Right.
different.
And
Right.
it's not a grant. We are allowed to fund festivals and things
Right.
like that from our own money. It's not like a grant situation where,
Right.
let's say you applied for a grant, certainly
Right.
you can't.
That's
fund
different.
something.
Okay, I do remember
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little looser on that respect.
Okay.
I think Newbury Town Day, while yes, there's overlap, if you want to participate, participate. If you don't, don't. If you want to do a little bit, that's a separate but related thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
The funding discussion for it would probably be the most pertinent thing for the council. So.
Yeah, I want to check with Nina too, to see if there's anything formal that we need in writing about granting that money to Newbury Town Day, because I wasn't clear on that. The website's not great.
Right.
So, yeah.
Or
it's hard.
does the, for Newbury Town Day, do they have to submit an application?
They don't.
They don't, okay, okay,
No, because it's not a grant. We're just allocating those funds.
okay.
And because Margaret was not at the last meeting, I think
Oh,
one
right.
of the ideas that came up for use of that fund was for the Artists on the Green
Oh, really? Oh,
possibility, assuming that, you know, that was one idea that
oh,
would
that'd be nice.
draw for
That's
a large
definitely-
people.
Yeah,
And but, you know, Robin, you know, again, was sort of talking to me because she was sort of putting a couple of our ideas together, but it seems like
Okay.
if there was a budget in terms of, you know, needing tents
That's what I'm
or,
thinking.
you know,
Good sized
porta potties or whatever it
Porta
is,
potties.
that, you
Porta
know,
potties,
It's
definitely.
very glamorous.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, posters, whatever, that, you know, perhaps there's something.
Okay, oh, that's good to
that-
know.
I forgot you weren't there yet. It has to go to a specific thing in the,
Okay,
in the.
so a
Newbury Town.
specific event within the town.
Or porta potties, or if you did shuttles and we paid for the shuttles, but it can't
Okay.
just be, here you go.
You're right.
yeah, you can't go towards
So do you
food.
do you have a budget?
No,
then?
that's
Well,
yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Essentially, okay, so, not to get too far away from what we're discussing, but just because we are kind of tapped into it, the meeting that was held for Newbury Town Day in September, there were loose presentations of budget. And right now, it's pretty much on hold to see, shuttles might be not exclusive to one person, it might be to different events. The porta potties, you know, as a whole, you may need 12 of them at different events. So
And then it gets earmarked, and that's when we earmark the funds.
Right.
Okay.
So.
So that's
building-
down the road.
That's down the road, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
but
right.
But it was an idea that was raised. so-
great, I'm happy to know that.
Mhm.
Okay.
The conflict of interest that we talked about so much.
Does not include
Really?
Newbury Town Day, because no one is excluded.
So expect to see both your staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
I'll just whip up some art too.
Yeah. We'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely, okay.
Okay. So what's,
So back to the chair position, so
Right.
yeah, I guess that would be, it sounds like everyone, was anyone able to co-secretary?
I'd be willing to help you, Michelle,
Okay.
although I don't really know.
That's okay.
She's
don't have a
learned,
clue.
Michelle has taught herself too, very quickly, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well,
If
Robin
you are,
gave me a
if you are out of town, anything I can do.
Yeah.
The same for co-signing.
She
If
co-signed
either
for
of you
me.
are out of town.
Right.
She wasn't even out of town, I just asked you to do it.
I am happy to do that,
Okay.
that's fine. And same for you, Art, if you're covering treasury.
Yeah. Happy
So
to cover
is
that.
so it's official, we have
You
co-chairs?
guys are the co-chairs.
Oh, fantastic.
I
It's
think
huge
that's-
relief, because I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a
who's
huge
gonna send
relief.
out these letters?
Okay. Nice.
Do we need a motion to approve that?
So
Probably.
what are we doing? Say it again, please.
Well, congratulations, Michelle, you are co-chair.
Okay. And Bart and you are co-chair.
Of the,
Treasurer.
No, we're co-treasurer, you and Jean are co-secretary, you and I are co-chair.
Oh, gee.
It'll be okay.
that was-
Jean was incredibly responsive the other day when I needed her.
Okay. Hold on one second, sorry.
no, and I do promise to come running if called upon. But yeah, it's just,
I'm kind of with where you are, Lloyd, on that.
but it's very busy time of
That's
year.
fine, yeah, I mean, I think it's great if we know that you'll be there, and you've never
Yeah.
not been there, so,
Right.
yeah.
Right. But they have the world of art and going out to galleries and taking classes and all those
Yeah.
kind of things has
That's what's
opened
happening.
wide up again.
Mhm.
So we're suddenly swamped.
Good, you should be, I like it,
I'm happy, but I just
it's a lot.
can't
Yeah,
take
that's
on
fine.
anything else.
So,
But
sorry, will we not then have a liaison? No.
We don't- I
Okay.
I
actually,
don't think we need one.
we never need one anyway. We just
Okay.
need someone to answer emails, and I've been doing it. It's not, there's not a lot of activity in there.
All right.
I feel like Robin had a different idea behind that, but I don't know what it was, so.
Okay. All right, so we kind of melded both the chair,
Yeah, we're down
council
to direct
responsibility
grants.
and liaison responsibility. So the next up is direct grants, unless anyone has any other,
Can I back up? Did we need
Sure.
to vote?
I think we did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
So,
I'll make a motion that Michelle and Amy are nominated to be co-chairs,
Nice.
that Bart will serve with Amy as a co-treasurer, and I myself will serve with Michelle as a co-secretary.
second,
I, who go
Aye.
first?
Aye.
Is there anyone left to vote?
okay. Sorry. So Amy had this in from when we were going to meet a couple weeks ago, but we had a quick side discussion about direct grants versus reimbursements, which Mina spoke to us about briefly when she came and dialed in with us online. And when I had gone in to update my password on the new website, I read through, the training, I did the training for the grantees and so forth, and for the councils, and it seems so much more straight line. And there seems to be more and more councils that are going toward doing direct grants. We don't qualify to do it for this year because we've missed the deadline to do that. But for next year, we should probably explore that a little bit more and have discussion about that. I would highly suggest that you go on the website and look at the differences. I can send out the link to everyone where that is. It seems like it's a lot more streamlined. So the applications come in, we vote, they get the money.
Right then.
Yeah, And,
Anything that streamlines the process.
Yeah.
yeah,
Seems, you know,
Um,
necessary. It
I don't
does
know.
seem
a little bit
It's
over
less
the top.
documentation back and
Is,
forth.
but if we're giving them a grant, there's still gonna be some requirements on their part to submit
Correct.
paperwork to us.
Yeah,
So, wouldn't we still be chasing it?
hopefully not. Most people, I don't, at this point, I haven't been contacting people saying, wait, that is one of the other things on this. Where's your reimbursement? And I look through the list and I'm like, these things were supposed to have already happened. But, you know, if they don't want to get paid, they don't want to get paid. The only thing I have to chase people for is the W-9, and that is 90% of them don't send me their W-9.
That's tough. Those
So-
are tough,
I can't remember because it's been a while, but we can look it up and see what the requirements are.
yeah.
But that was one of the questions, because I did too watch the video, and that was one of the questions someone asked. And they do have to send you something, but I don't remember what it was, and they can send it after the fact. It's just much more casual almost.
So I suspect that if they get a grant and they don't send the, whatever the documentation is that they need to send back, then they're not eligible for grants perhaps in the future until they do that. I mean, I'm just trying to think of what the incentives are. The whole concept behind reimbursement
Yeah.
is that you're not gonna get your money until you send us what
Yeah.
you're supposed to be sending to us. And we're reversing that, and it may be a simpler process, but I'm just worried about people responding. And
Yeah.
perhaps that might be an answer.
Mina had mentioned that because I think that was brought up when she presented, and evidently it's not been an issue because they've done it for a few years now. You know, it's been a growing process. That was my first thought too, but if it's,
And does it have to be submitted annually? I mean, a lot of these are repetitive.
Yes,
You have to do it
yes.
every year?
Yeah.
Yes.
because it's a state fund, so the state funds aren't in the budget until they get approved by the legislature, so.
Okay. Well, that's good. If it's an easier process, that makes
I
sense.
definitely want to review it again.
Yeah.
Because it did seem like, wait a minute, to me too, yeah. like-
If everyone can look through that info before we meet the next time, and we can put it back on the agenda to see.
I think
If
that the
anyone has
next
questions.
meeting will be,
Oh, grants.
yeah, and then we can meet on in March.
Yep, yep.
But, I mean, to your idea, if we had a list as we're reviewing the grants of anyone who has not yet submitted a W-9, that would be part of,
No, yeah,
that would
so-
be part of the consideration for
Mhm.
a grant going ahead, so it would be just a useful
Like
list.
paperwork,
Exactly.
yeah.
And,
Yeah, good.
would certainly, you know, warrant the council's attention if they were reviewing a future grant.
Yeah, yeah, and, yeah, things like communication, et cetera, yeah.
And I think Salisbury does the direct grants, I'm not positive, but we can ask that when we go to that meeting, if anyone does, because that would be interesting to hear what their experiences have been. Great.
Cool.
So we'll talk about that then after.
After we get through the actual this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next item is update our page on MCC website. That's Amy.
So I handled that. We weren't eligible to get grants or funding until the whole page was set up. It wasn't a tremendous amount of work. So I did it at the end. Yeah, you and I talked about that, and I could
Right.
continue without save draft, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I think I sent you all an email like, can you please just go in and do your password? But then I figured out how to move forward without that. Minnie wasn't even listed there, so I added her. But otherwise, it was just, you know, checking some boxes and stuff.
Thank
So
you.
that is all set, and it was in the nick of time.
Great. Any questions? Anyone?
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. August was this is on camera, but August was a slow month for me, so I was able to do some of these things, you know, during work
It
hours.
still takes time, so
Yeah.
thank you.
So while we're on the subject of the website though, we have to do some outreach annually on canvassing the public, so,
I had a really good idea about that.
okay, good.
Too bad we missed it. But I sent Robin a text and I was like, it's too bad, because I thought of it Friday night, that we don't have a table or something at Plum Fest. So I was thinking if there's any other, like maybe we could put up a table at Spencer Pierce Little during one of the ball games or
During the
something.
Yeah, oh, that's a good
Just
idea.
two people man it for 2 hours.
Do it during town, Newbury Town Day.
Yeah, but it has to be done now.
But you just did one in
I know,
March.
we have to do one every year.
We have to do it annually.
I'm sorry,
State law,
I'm sorry, which year are we
I don't know anymore.
covering anymore? I mean, you just finished one in the spring.
Right.
So is that we're going by a fiscal year that ends at the end of June, or are we going by a calendar year?
I think it has to be done before the next grant cycle.
Okay, so we have till next spring.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to do it now. So we could potentially do it during Newbury Town
During the
Day.
town day, then
That'd
that's
be
what
great.
she suggested.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think if you do a survey every year, you're gonna, I don't wanna do a survey every year. I don't wanna do a
No,
survey.
and you,
so that should all be
you just
added
did it and
to our
it
March
was,
agenda.
consolidated well, had a lot of information. It doesn't seem like it's necessary to do it.
But
within 6
Mina
months.
said, and this might have been at the last meeting
Must have been,
too,
because I don't remember.
Mina said it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a formal survey, you can just be having conversations with people and getting their
Oh,
feedback.
okay.
So you could
Right.
talk to 20 people and it would be just as valuable.
One thing that might be interesting, since they'll all be Newbury residents as the artists and, or even other activities that may have folks that would benefit, send just like a little postcard, how was your experience? What would you do different? You know, did you like this? How often would you do something like this? Just ideas with, especially the artists themselves,
For
But-
for town day, after town
Yeah.
day?
After the fact, to
Yeah.
get some,
feedback from them. But yeah, just canvassing people as they're attending the program, that would be good too.
And you could always, we could add that to it, but you can put a form in with the artist as they do it,
Mhm.
go around as they're doing it, and we could make up a form asking them to give us
just give us
feedback.
some feedback.
Mhm.
And
some
that-
simple-
just from the artist at the time of the
In a
event.
box with a slit in it.
Right,
Table.
right.
I
So they
assume
can
there'd
do
be
it
a sort of
on the
central
spot.
table
I
anyway,
think,
so
yeah,
you could probably
exactly.
just, you know,
Yep, like a
have a set of
central
forms on one
space.
side with
Yep.
somebody to answer questions.
Yeah.
So then so this, basically we'll table this till March and then make concrete decisions about how to set it up
For the,
and who to man it, right?
Just add it
for
in.
town, right, correct.
So I move that we table it till March, okay, good.
Okay,
Second.
All right.
bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So now we need to set some grant voting dates.
The grants close on the 15th, right? Am I
I
correct?
was just gonna look that up
I
because
don't even know where that is.
couldn't remember what the
Probably
date
not even
was.
in this inbox.
It's either the 30th or
I
the
was gonna go
15th.
30th, but okay, they are wrong. I could be wrong.
I must have put it in a press release.
I had last year's press release, isn't it?
I think it was October
The
15th.
15th at 11:59.
Yep.
There you go, see?
Okay.
My memory did not fail me.
So Mara, do you remember if in the past, do we get to vote? Because, well, let me pause. There's a document I have to fill out in order for us to know how much we have. That is also due on the 15th.
Yes.
Then we know how much we have, so maybe we should look 2 weeks out from that, just to make sure we have enough time for everything, or should we just do it immediately after the 15th?
So do what immediately? So
The grant voting meeting.
so we have to have time to review the grants.
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah.
I didn't mean on the 16th, I meant like the next week or two, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
And we have it set, I think, till the 18th of January to file the report. And then
Yes,
we have to
however-
the end of February to send decision notifications.
Oh, okay.
So Amy, are you thinking like the last week of October, first week of November?
I think last year we did it around the week of November 7th.
That's what I remember as well.
I'm usually in
So
Charleston the week before, so.
Unfortunately, I'm out of town that week of the 8th, so it sounds like those 2 weeks won't work.
All right, so do we want,
I'm happy to do the week of the 15th. I
Perfect.
am closer to Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving's not until the following week, so.
okay.
So the 15th?
Yeah.
So
Are
that's
we
a
saying
Monday?
Mondays work better?
Monday, to stay with the Mondays?
Yeah, so it sounds like.
What day is that? The
November
15th?
15th, Monday, November 15th.
Michelle, you're not online, right?
No.
I am, I'm on.
Oh, so if you go to the Newburytown website, you can see whether this room is booked on that day.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, there's a calendar.
Now it says I'm off. Why am I?
So that's a whole month after receiving
That-
that.
yeah,
Is that
that's
too
normal.
long for you? or-
No, that's normal.
Okay.
It takes us all that much time to actually read them.
So it's
Get
the
it
same
together.
process that we get the panel
When is
books?
Thanksgiving?
I don't know if we get, she said
Thanksgiving
that.
is the
Do you
25th.
remember, do we get books or do we
Ah.
just go online and read them
I mean,
I
they
do not
call
know.
them panel books, but we went online.
and download
The
it?
last couple of years, I've read them online.
Right,
I've heard
but the
them.
reference was panel books.
I know, I
So-
don't remember if we get books now that we have the Smart Simple, or if we just go on Smart Simple. And either way, they're online.
It'll be online.
So the week of the 15th, I'm supposed to be in Germany. Whether I go or
okay.
not, I don't know.
Oh.
Germany, oh.
So I would leave on the 13th and I wouldn't be back until like the 21st.
Should we back up towards the last week of October? Or you were gone the first week in November, is that correct?
I'm the second, but Amy was saying she's the first.
Oh, you're the.
No, I'm not going to Charleston. This is a conference, annual conference. I'm not going. What about Monday the 1st?
Okay.
The room is open.
Okay.
November 1st? or-
Monday, November.
First,
Sure.
that's good.
Good way to start the month.
Do you think we can get it all? We had 2 meetings last time. I don't think we did it all in one time.
Well, I wasn't on the council till January, and the first
Meeting I came in, where I was not a member, was in January. I listened in on one.
On a grant?
On your review of,
We
review of
did,
grants.
we
I
did
do
one
not know how many you
meeting, but
did
we had
before
to
that.
come back when COVID hit to make some
Oh.
adjustments.
Okay,
for
one
the-
meeting. I've
Right.
never
I
done
think
one
we
in
can do
one.
it in one meeting.
Yeah.
We're actually, the way we do it is very organized.
It is.
Yeah.
we come
It
really
might take us a little
prepared.
more than an hour, but
Yeah, it's, yeah,
And look, I can
One
plug
meeting
into
would
the
be
TV.
preferable.
I know, you're gonna be all,
Nice.
you're
And
set.
we do, we come very prepared, very informed, and that will move it along. And we
Right.
can pay the attention that we need to, but coming prepared.
Yeah.
One meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the November 1st.
November 1st.
Okay,
All right,
6 o'clock?
sure.
sure.
Okay, I'll reserve the room.
Okay.
If that is not available, should we have a backup date?
No, it's filled.
It is available.
Oh,
yeah.
you've cut, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm doing too many
Phones
things
are the best.
at the same time.
Book it now.
Phone
Yeah, I wish I
book.
knew how, actually. Michelle has access, she can do it.
Okay, so discussion for adding clarification to grant approval letters for next year.
Yeah, so I don't know what the grant approval letters look like, I can look it up, but I just was, since it's up to you and me, this time I'd like a checkbox. So when this is what you need to send back to us, your reimbursement form, your W-9, and receipts or proof of the event. So, for example, Henry Lappin just had his juggling, did you go?
No.
Okay. And he sent me the reimbursement form, and then I had to go back to him and say, do you have any proof that it existed and your W-9? Which I found proof for him, and he had sent his W-9 right away. But it would just save me a little bit of time if I just think maybe
Yeah.
having a checkbox
Yeah.
might help be the visual prompt.
Oh, good.
by the way, speaking, do you need
No,
it for any reason?
I
Okay.
don't, thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Do
I'll
you
keep it in
have
my
a
file.
copy of those? Oh, you'd have those letters anyway, because you do those.
No, I don't do them,
Oh, you don't?
but I can, Robin does, so
Okay.
we can get it.
Okay.
And she probably sent them from the group email last year, so I may have them in my sense.
Okay. And then I had on here additional business is needed, update on Newburytown Day, if you want to.
Were you at the meeting?
I was, so there
I
was,
was not, so you're.
there was
you're
a
up.
meeting September 11th. It was sparsely attended. That was disappointing. There were 9 people
Oh, wow.
that showed up. And then halfway through, which was really nice, Alicia Greco came. So she was good there for a good portion of the meeting. And some of the events that had been proposed had been scratched because no one took ownership. So the whole idea was you were to come up with, if interested, come up with an event and then you claimed ownership to it to see it through. So the meeting in, when was that, Jean? Was it May? Okay, that meeting had more people, quite a few people, and ideas were coming out. So some of the events were followed up and some weren't. So that's where we are. And as far as budgeting, because you were asked to come with a budget for your event, that again is kind of a bit of a gray area right now to determine the shuttle buses to go to different events, which events would need the shuttle buses, the porta potties, which events would need that. Discussion about food trucks. I mean, Newbury has one food truck, the Sacred Cod, who works out of Boston Road, and so hopefully it's too early to book him. But then we were talking about outside vendors for food trucks.
Menzies,
Exactly.
Ipswich.
Changing Tides.
Exactly, yes, yes.
Will be truck down in Hillsfield.
Okay, so
The Looking
that,
High.
so that was something that we really wanted to concentrate on, because there were requests for food and
Mhm,
what was
yeah.
going to happen with the food. So I think Alicia Greco had a really good point. There were the big poster papers with the events that are being held, and she said, you know, if this is what we have for the first town day, this is really good.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because it feels like it's getting smaller, but it's only the first year.
It's the first
And
year.
people are going to,
One day.
people are going to say, oh, I wish they had done that and I could help. You know, I think that would be,
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. There was focus on making sure that we have enough family and kid-oriented events. That seemed a little sparse at the very beginning, but those were added onto. There's going to be a great treasure hunt that's going to have 3 locations within the 3 different areas of our town. There's some really nice ideas.
Good.
So despite the fact that it was a much smaller participant showing up, it still promote the idea, see if you can generate more interest. The events are really sounding very nice, the ones that are secure.
Can
So-
you hire face painters? Because kids love that and adults do too.
We wondered about possibly high school students
Yeah.
maybe being interested in doing that.
Oh, yeah.
The other idea someone brought up was community service, like the Governor's Academy. Now, I know this is probably kind of, you'll know, Lloyd, when the cutoff for the end of the year is, but there's a requirement for community service.
Yes, they have a faculty member who is year-round in charge of that very idea of community service. And they are allocating and sending out students year-round to fulfill these obligations. One coming up is the Special Olympics. They hold there every early November. But yes, they, if I just throw this out, they are a resource for all these things. They bring food trucks onto that campus on a regular basis.
However, you do also have to remember, they will not be in session on June
Right.
18th.
But
Right.
they will have students,
And yeah, juniors need to get that for the next year.
right,
because
they
they'll
will
graduate.
have day students in the area who would volunteer or be able to put you in touch with people who would do it regardless. So it is a resource.
Good.
And they
Okay.
are probably also a good resource, I go on, for funding. They may actually help fund an event.
And we all, or I particularly, since it's, you know, the open studios on the Lower Green, I also wondered, would there be students? Because
Exactly.
again, just as we're doing with Triton, it's, the school is positioned in, within our town. We are not discriminating against
No, you-
where
You
students
should
are
reach out.
from.
They should,
Governor's
reach
students have won a large number of awards.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, through the scholastic.
Right.
Triton also
And
has
Triton
a.
as well.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well,
I
they
have
also
them
have
over.
a community service requirement.
Right, and I've had, and many of the kids who do stuff when Governor does big events are from Triton.
As does
So-
River Valley Charter School.
Right, all of them do, they all do, but
Newbury residents
they,
as well.
it would be, long and short of it, they would be a great resource to put you in touch with all the people, because they're all in touch with each other, looking for stuff for their students to do.
Okay, good, all right, so that's
So-
something that,
So
pass
how
on
many
to the.
events are we talking about?
So right now, between maybe a dozen or a little bit more.
No.
There's, on Plum Island, there's going, I know my husband is giving a talk on the history of aviation for Plum Island Airfield, which he's given many, many years, but, so that's something on Plum Island, which he was hoping that there could be a shuttle to bring people out onto where the first flying field was. With a backup, because I don't believe there's a rain date, I think it's
I don't know.
the day, with a backup using the wildlife refuge headquarters. There's a crazy craft event on the Parker River,
Oh,
the building of
small
the-
craft, right?
Small craft,
Yeah.
building your own
Oh, you gonna build
craft,
your own boat?
build your own boat.
Is Ralph doing that? She took Ralph?
Marshall Jesperson.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Interesting. You guys know there's a current there, right?
well,
Someone
no,
died 2 weeks
I
ago.
know, I
Yeah.
know.
But if it's
There's,
low tide, it's fine.
so hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
you
You can walk.
Historic New England is opening 3 of their 4 homes. We're trying to see if somehow maybe the vintage baseball could play on Saturday rather than Sunday. Let's see, what are some of the other events? Well, Jean, you're,
I have, I'm trying to get naturalists and plein air artists together. I have basically about half a dozen naturalists so far partnered with artists from the area who are going to work on an exhibit on the natural history of Newbury, sort of finding natural landmarks that the natural historians work with the artists to sort of portray. And there's going to be an exhibit at the library that will actually extend from June 5th to July 10th,
Perfect.
but
That's
there'll be a
nice.
reception on the 18th.
Great.
Excellent,
So-
excellent.
Is the schoolhouse on the Lottery gonna be open, I assume?
I thought it was going to be, which is,
We approached them about using that for the exhibit. They want to open it in order just to do tours.
Yeah.
So,
Because
so-
you can't, my mom's part of that whole group, you can't hang things in there.
Right,
So,
so
yeah.
that we moved on to the library.
so there's, you know, a good amount of events going on. The fields, Manters Field, I don't know if they're calling it Manters Field on Central Street, though, that there's going to be events going on there for kids and for families. There's sporting events and fun type things like
Is
that.
somebody from the rec committee involved? Because, you know, they have a brand new basketball court that's just
Well,
about to be opened
Right.
if it's not
Somebody
already.
brought that up about the basketball.
Yeah.
Trying to remember who it was, but regardless, that was mentioned. I mean, we were there for 2 hours.
Did anyone approach the refuge at all to do anything?
You know, I'm not sure on that, because right now the refuge is closed to
Right,
the public.
right.
So, I'm not sure on that.
Okay.
The headquarters going in,
I believe it's reopened.
because I know my husband tried to get in to find out about.
Yeah, no, they've been closed to the public. I don't think they're
To
open
find
yet.
out about reserving the auditorium for
Right, and he
Newbury
couldn't
Town
get
Day,
in.
and he couldn't get in, he ended up doing by email.
Mm.
So that would have been within the past couple of weeks, so.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
Yeah,
I think I got in, I thought there was, I had gotten in, not maybe in the past month, and maybe it was just someone at the desk answering,
Yeah,
as
that
opposed
could have
to
been.
opening
Right,
the
but I think
museum.
as far as people going in, I mean, I'm talking about the one, when you come onto Plum Island, the one on the right. I'm not sure if I'm calling it the right name.
Yeah,
or not,
headquarters.
but the headquarters, yeah.
And along the same lines, someone talking to Mass Audubon,
Mhm.
you know, could also generate particularly some more, you know, kid activities
Yeah.
and interpretive
It's just-
possibilities.
Find
Again,
needle.
Trying to get somebody that says, I'll do it, and then
And then doing it.
following through,
Yeah.
you know. So that's kind of where we are, is we need some more people. But also, like anything, because it's not until June
Yeah.
of next year, I think people are feeling, possibly, I don't want to interject, but I think they're feeling a little relaxed yet.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this
I would
point.
think.
The concern is when trying to access funding, the budgeting is done at the end of this year for next year, and that was brought up so that come March or April, whoever is trying to get funding, approaching different places, and you know what, our budget has already been figured out. So
Right.
that was brought up, which was a good thing.
Mhm.
So there's a lot that's gone on, that's the steering committee has, I think, accomplished at this point.
Great.
That's great. Great, good work.
Is there another planning meeting on the agenda?
There is going to be another one, there wasn't a date specified.
Okay,
Yeah, but there will be.
let me know, because I'll put it on the calendar.
Okay.
Anyone have anything else with Town Day? Any other,
I have my t-shirt, I wear it.
wear your t-shirt if you have
I should
one.
wear it,
T-shirts, yeah.
I told Robin I would wear it at Plum Fest, and I didn't, and then I bumped into her.
Uh-oh.
But she didn't have hers on either.
Never was on
Oh,
either.
you were sick.
I was busted.
I have to get mine.
I was
There you
looking
go.
through the historical commission's minutes the other day, and they go through the emails they have received. Do you want to hear from the person reading emails, who's emailed us?
I think if it's relevant to our business, then yes, but if not.
So we did the 2 modifications, those were the ones that are most relevant. And then,
I mean, it's either relevant to modifications or to, you know, future funding.
yeah, okay, then the others
I
don't
mean, it's,
matter.
but using discretion
Yeah, the
seems,
others do not
seems
matter.
like a good idea.
Yeah, perfect. And if it's relevant, like the Salisbury
Yeah.
invite us, everyone, I just forwarded it to you.
So you and I were going to that, was anyone else here going to that? I know Robin was going to, okay.
No.
We can always
I don't know.
report back.
That'll work.
Yeah. That's it. Does anybody have any other,
This is like a record, and I
It
love it.
is?
I
Okay,
love it.
because
I don't have to go, I have to go,
All right.
I'm hungry.
November
So
1st.
November
Motion.
1st at 6, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Second,
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Bye.
bye, everybody.